This is a conceptual stage.
Yeah.
But let's say that we want to go one step further. We want to substitute these walls with multi-layered ones. How do we create them?
Yeah, and I think this is a part where we can dig deeper also into the settings of the wall. We just covered a few basics, but when you would like to create a multi-layered wall, or you would like to work with the multi-layered wall, it's worth note that you can select an item and you can go to the properties and visualize the properties dialog. And then here you will find not just the basic settings, the materials and sort of location and things like that, but also the edit compound walls command, which allows you to add more and more and more layers, and the software will continuously keep tracking of those changes. And then you can set up the function, the material, the thickness, the base offset, and so on. So how this works? Now, first things first, the function. The function of the wall layer can be something nominal. I mean, it should be a core layer, which is very important, or a cavity, or just numbers, which allows you to kind of set up an order between the layers that, for example, this layer is more important than the other one. The higher the number, the most important that layer is. This comes interesting when you connect multi-layered walls, which I will show pretty soon. The other one, the material will appear when you intersect the wall. So that's why it's important when you make a spectacular 3D cut of the building, that will be the material that you see inside on the render, for example. There's the thickness. The thickness is just, you know, the thickness of the layer. It's very simple. And there's the base offset.
That's actually what you showed in the beginning, is that you can tie this layer to the top of the structure, so the slab just below it.
Yeah, so you can, again, here you have the option to edit it, and you can say that, okay, let's just bound this to not to the top of the structure, but to the finished floor for any reason, and then say, okay, this is what I want, and in that case, I would like to use the same value, so I can just click here, and I can say, okay, edit, and do the same thing. But a good thing here is that actually these are texts, so you can just Control copy and Control paste, Control V, and you just, you know, just type it, and the software will understand. You don't have to go into the settings. And the same thing happens here with the heights. So you can say, okay, this height is constrained to the bottom of the structure of the following floor. +1 means it's the following floor. And you can also even set up an offset for any reason you might need it. And then when you say okay, then you can do the same to the rest of the layers as well.
Fill pattern?
The fill pattern is actually the pattern that you can see here.
So the hatching of the...
Yeah, so if I don't like this, I can actually turn off the hatch, if for example this is a cavity or something like that, or I can just say that I would like to edit the hatch and I would like to add a completely different style or a completely different pattern. This is what comes up. You can completely set up the orientation, the look and feel and the colors and everything else for this pattern, and this is how you detail the structure itself. You can also name it. This comes handy when you make listings of walls, because the software will not just list the geometrical properties, but also the names of the layers, and this helps when it's not just sometimes the fill pattern or the material is not just that talkative. You don't understand. Okay, there are 2 brick layers, but which one is the?
You need to identify them somehow.
Yeah, so you can name them properly, and there is a layer ending which can be set up using with different line types and so on, and there's the visibility. So for example, if this is an air cavity, you can turn off the visibility, or instead of that, sometimes we just simply use the visibility, because in intersection sometimes we would like to see some hatch of the air cavity as well. So I turn on the visibility, but I use we have a material called air, which is a visible material, but it's completely see-through, so you can use it just as well. You turn off the layer visibility. So to talk about something like this, let me just create a new style, because that's where we started from. So I have created this, and I say, okay, I add 1 new layer.
And that is going to be a
and
render, maybe?
Yeah, let's say this is just a very thin layer. It's only 1 centimeter, and it's with a different material. It's with the same base offset, the same height, but it's very thin, and it has the name. What was that?
Render.
Render. Let's say it's render, and that's the brick wall.
So now you would want to use this later in other situations, right?
Yeah. So let's say this is what I want, and it's a total thickness of 11 centimeters. Say, okay, that's it. Okay, go with it. And then now this is just a version of the original 10 centimeter wide wall. It's not saved. Next time when I open the project, I cannot select it like a named structure.
So how would you handle this?
That's how you do it. You click here. That's the styles list. And here at the styles, you can add new styles to the installed ones. So you can say, okay, it's a new style, and it's a well, actually, it's a 2-layered 11 wide wall. Let's say, okay, this is the one here. Okay, that's it. You can set up a folder to further structure it. These are folders: the composite, the framed construction, and you can also set up a subfolder if you would like to further detail it. But now I just skip it and I say okay, and now it appears at the bottom of the list, and I can say okay. From this point on, I can just start drawing a wall, and I can select this here, and I can work with that easily.
So that means that although ARCHLine is supplied with a list of styles, but in every country the regulations are different, so you can create your own styles. But this is something that you can either use locally on this particular project, or you can make it into a global user folder, the style. So you can make it available for other projects, and also you can carry it from one computer to the other. So whenever you update your license or you update your computer, you can just take all the styles and take them with you.
Yes. Talking about these styles now, if I would like to apply this style in new projects, if I would like to save this style out of this project, or if I would like to share this style, I can do all those. When I start a command and the styles appear here, I can right-click on a style and I can do any sort of thing that I would like to. Activate means I would like to work with it, so that's like just picking the style. I can set up the properties, I can also change its location, I can rename it, I can erase it, I can export it so I can share it with you, I can copy it to a server and then you can import it to your project. And I can also move to a package which is called my package, my style package. Now, my style package is a package that is visible all across your projects. So if you do not do that, this style will only alive in this certain project.
Yes.
It won't automatically visible in all the rest of the projects. That will be a bit would be a bit confusing. But if you would like to, then you can just move it to this package style, which is called my. And then when you open up a new project, you will see this, style that you have just created. So you can decide whether this is just a locally used style or it's a global style that you would like to use in the rest of the projects.
It's great. How do we actually replace one style with the other?
Yeah, that's it here. Let me just erase these because from this point on we don't need these. Let's say, okay, this was a conceptual drawing, but now I would like to take a step further and I would like to use one of my existing multi-layer styles to exchange the existing walls to those. By default, it's very simple. You just select the wall and you say, okay, it's not a one-layered wide wall already, but it should be something else. For example, this with rendering on it. So this is how you change it. But let me just undo that. If I would like to be even more sophisticated in selection, then I can just select this and control-click on the rest and so on. But again, if it's a long process, then I would not like to do that. So in that case, I use the selection, but actually it's in two separate locations in the software. You can remember whichever you remember, you are already there. This here is the selection menu here. And there is another one, and it's at the end of the edit. This is select. It's easy to find. You can actually type select here and you will find all these commands. So you say, okay, now I would like to select items by their properties because I know that this is, by properties, this is a wall with
they all have the same
specific
thickness,
wall width, which was, I think now I'm in meters, so let's say 0.38. And okay, so now the software selects all of them. And then now I can do the same thing. So I can just say, okay, this from this point on is something else. Like say, this is a brick covered wall with cavity on it. And then the software changes the layout. And again, it will keep the reference line. If you don't like that, you can change that. But actually, that's how it works. It will keep the reference line that you used when you create.